Hallo Leute, willkommen zurück zu R&R Production. Hier ist Robi und wir spielen gleich weiter mit
Don't
Genshin
we have a
Impact.
job to do?
Wir sind bei Part 27 und wir haben Leo fast fertig, würde ich sagen. Oder kommen noch die ganzen Zwischendinger. Intermissions, oder wie man die nennt. Aber ich muss erst den neuesten Schatz unter Wasser finden. Okay. Oh, sogar der letzte. Sehr schön. Dann haben wir das auch abgeschlossen. Dann haben wir das auch dann abgeschlossen. Oh, wie sah denn das jetzt nochmal aus? Oh, das nehmen wir auch gleich. Vielen Dank. Das ist neben so einer Bucht, neben einem Gebäude. Müsste leicht zu finden sein. Das könnte hier sein im Wasser. Nee, das sah anders aus. Das ist hier. Das war dieses Gebäude. Perfekt. Geht easy. Können wir von hier runtergehen. Das ist doch sehr schön. Genau, einfach ins Wasser. Einfach to the water. Natürlich ist da alles im Weg, was im Weg sein kann. Ey, Chicken ohne Ende, du. Das Jute. Oh, stimmt, wir sind ja Level Up. Weltenstufe, jetzt sind sie fast 50, ne? Heißt bessere Items. Sehr schön. Jetzt sind wir schon Weltenstufe. Was war's? 3, gell? Sehr, sehr schön. Komm, auf ins Wasser. To the water, my friend. Be water. Oh, ein Aussichtspunkt. Sehr schön. Da ist noch ein Hydrokulus. Auf into the water. Ein paar Gegner. Wunderschön. Danke für den Hydrokulus, mein Freund. Oh, ich bin schon drin. Sehr schön. Direkt hier. Gefällt mir. Ja, die greifen wir nochmal an. Was denn das für eine Attacke? Die macht ja gar nichts. Und was muss ich machen? So, macht die so kleine Strählchen oder was? Das war ja easy. Aber Stein kann ich damit nicht mitmachen. Okay. Kriegt man schon hin. Zock ich den Gegnern was ab? Ja, den schon. Easy. Tralalalalalalalala. Was muss ich machen? Abgeschlossene Runde. Ah, besiege alle Monster. Okay. Kriegt man doch hin. Aber nicht zu weit weg, oder was? Alter, hier genau muss ich da ran. Wo ist der Große? Easy. Where is the last one? My friends. Ich sehe ihn doch schon. Zielt die Kanone auf mich da? Sieht echt so aus. Weg von ihr! Abgeschlossene Runden, das muss ich machen. Die wollen mich fertig machen. Die Fische helfen auch nicht. Verdecken nur die ganze Sicht, ey. Das ist sehr leicht. War ja keine Herausforderung hier. Seli, wir holen uns die Schätze. Thank you very much. Sprich mit Ulmen, machen wir doch. Das machen wir doch. Der war hier, genau. Jedes Mal vergesse ich's. Das war's dann mit den Events in Fontaine. Antike Eisenmünzen, nicht schlecht, wirklich nicht schlecht. So viele antike Eisenmünzen kann ich sicher für ein gutes Sümmchen verkaufen. Danke, Rakela und Paimon. Was hast du jetzt vor? Natürlich überlege ich mir jetzt, wie ich diese antike Eisenmünzen in Mora umtauschen kann. Oder in andere nützliche Gegenstände des täglichen Bedarfs. Wirklich, ich möchte mit meinem früheren Mittelsmann nichts mehr zu tun haben. Er verlangt immer einen erschreckend hohen Anteil. Außerdem landet das Geld meist zu spät in meinen Händen. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was er immer so treibt. Wissen wir auch nicht. Aber außer ihm finde ich auch niemanden Verlässliches für eine Zusammenarbeit, seufzt. Reden wir nicht davon. Das ist für euch. Es ist als zusätzliche Entlohnung für unsere langfristige Kooperation. Wenn das Geschäft in Fontaine vorbei ist, muss ich mir auch Gedanken machen, wie es weitergeht. Ich kann nicht mehr so umherreisen, das ist so zu anstrengend. Geh schon in Ruhestand. Das kannst du doch nicht tun. So, welchen See nehmen wir? Ich würde sagen, prachtvoller Glanz mit ein bisschen Wasser drin. Ja, immer prachtvoller Glanz. Hat uns immer so schön begleitet. Dankeschön. Und seltene Schätze. Dankeschön. Man kann auch nur einen, glaube ich, kaufen. Ich hätte nicht einfach alles weglassen können und mehrere nehmen können. Naja. So ist Leben. Saison 19. Sehr schön. Damit haben wir alles. Die Fische-Liste ist. Ich kann meine Kanne abholen, ist auch gut. Dann können wir Punkte jede Woche machen für das hier. Muss ich auf jeden Fall machen. Sollen wir es eigentlich? Können wir auch eigentlich direkt machen. Wiederaufbau des Jadegemas, Zwischenkapitel erster Akt. Unfreiwilliges Opfer. Das ist Kapitel 1, Akt 4. Da haben wir Kapitel 2 Prolog, ein Weg durch den Sturm. Und das ist zwischen Kapitel 2. Akt. Große Kluft. Stimmt, die große Kluft müssen wir auch machen, ne? Lupus Minor, erster Akt. Sieh den Heldentaten auf der Suche nach den Büchern zu. Was ist das? Fragt Jifeng wegen des Reiseführers. Das ist Fontaine, das kommt ganz, ganz spät erst. Komm, probier geniale Beschwörung aus. Also das ist Spiele, ja genau. Erst ab 32. Dainslev. Catherine aus der Abenteuergilde. Kapitel 1, 4. Akt, Auftakt. Ey, und das ist keine. Zweig Hüter Dainslev. Den war, stimmt, den gibt's ja auch noch, den hab ich ganz vergessen. Der sieht als Charakter auch voll cool aus. Den wollte ich immer noch spielen, aber den gibt's noch nicht, glaube ich. Also ist noch nicht spielbar. Der wird bestimmt irgendwann. Vielleicht hat er eine 8. Element oder irgendwas. Das wäre auch geil. Also das ist auch Kapitel 1, 4. Akt. Aber wahrscheinlich muss ich erst das machen, ne? Aber wo ist... Oder was, so eine kleine Mini-Aufgabe? Für den Ort... Ah, da in der Kanne. Sag ich doch. Dann machen wir die Kannenaufgabe, ne? Holen wir unsere eigene Kanne. Hup. Madame Ping, wir kommen hier schon. Da ist ja unsere Madame Ping.
Ah, children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Lea Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more.
Madame, du kannst alles, Granny.
In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Das war doch selbstverständlich von mir. Ihr seid zu freundlich.
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you.
Auf jeden Fall.
Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy.
Raumschaffung ist...
Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
Eine kleine Spielerei also.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
Wir helfen bei der Suche.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days.
Was sind das denn für Materialien?
Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Wer ist denn dieses Kind?
Well, since you're an Adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an Adeptus too, right?
Yes. I suppose she does count as an Adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yanfei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yanfei, I believe you've already heard of the traveler and her traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame.
Schade.
A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me.
Anwalt.
Oh, yes. Here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yanfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this. Ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Ja, wir brauchen kein Legal, wir brauchen nur Urgesteine. Bist du wirklich ein Adept?
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Ah ja.
That's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently.
Zhongli ist Maschine. Ich mag den voll.
Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for smaragdus jadeite. I couldn't find any at all.
Is that so? But smaragdus jadeite is really rather essential. Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly, after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
Normal würde ich sagen, passt schon, aber ich will die Teekanne.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya. Ah, found him. Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some.
Wir kommen am besten auch mit.
Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Sonst gleich Klage um Klage um Klage. Aufpassen. Ich habe keinen Rechtsbeistand, ich habe eigenen Beistand. Ich habe eine Truppe voller göttlicher Visions in meinem Team.
Someone needs assistance.
Zwar noch kein Gott, aber lauter Cuties. Oder? Wen haben wir denn alles? Sternbild. Also Erde. 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 Bam. Top 2. So, was haben wir? Ein Cutie, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Du nicht. 7. Du auch nicht. 8, 9, 10. Zu jung. Also 10. Sayu, bist ein Kind. Sorry. Komm in 10 Jahren wieder. Wobei, die Lisa ist ja auch kein Cutie. Die ist eine Bombshell. Gefällt mir. So, jetzt gehen wir unseren Teapot holen. In die Richtung. Die Leute und die ganzen Sidequests hier. Chillt mal euer Leben. Ich habe die alten noch nicht mal gemacht. Krossel.
Hello, Mr. Krusel. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today?
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some Smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, in the end, I did acquire a small piece of Smaragdus jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhiqiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Ms. Zhiqiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Ms. Zhiqiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Dieser Vertrag scheint wirklich wasserdicht zu sein.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Chow lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossel. We'll be off now.
Auf zum nächsten. Was man nicht alles für eine Kanne tut, ne? Für eine kleine Teekanne. Nach oben. Hier war keine Treppe, oder? Nur auf der anderen Seite. Aber ich glaube, von hier kommen wir auch hoch. Ja. Hup. Rüber da.
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Entschuldigung, Sikiao?
Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossel that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins. I can't lend them to you right now. I've lost them. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice.
Warum hast du die Haarnadeln denn überhaupt ausgeliehen?
My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances. I can't, but now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Ja, noch tiefer ins Grab gegraben, ja?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of déjà vu?
Ich glaube, das ist der Moment, in dem wir helfen dir sagen sollten.
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Mr. Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow.
Wäre das nicht ungerecht Crossel gegenüber?
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossel the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Seems right.
Please. Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item, and I should pay compensation per the contract.
Ehrenwert. Das ist aber eine ganz schöne Summe.
However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue, and then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins. So hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. when you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade. My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch, finest quality jade.
Was ist denn damit?
No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossel's.
Mr. Crossel.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
Oi, oi, oi.
I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the compensation as per our contract. Every last mora.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course! Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Mr. Crossel.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Oh, das hört sich nicht gut an. Mädel, nicht so sprechen.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you.
Nicht, dass sie hier irgendwo ein Red Light District haben, ne?
It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Lauf mal hier rüber.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be Smaragdus jadeite after all.
Kein Smaragdjade?
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some deductions. I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even...
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossel's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
Aha.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty scam right to his face!
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave. And then, he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
Das war aber sehr detailliert.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal. I'll share them with you in due course.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yanfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, could I ask you to please sign this contract?
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track.
Wie oft ich das Wort Vertrag schon gehört habe.
Feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yanfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well.
Paimon ist geschockt.
And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages. Paimon's all out of brain juice again.
Das sieht aber sehr umständlich
All right,
aus.
that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy.
Kann ich irgendwo helfen?
Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geo-energy around Mr. Crossel, so perhaps he has, in fact, secured some. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter, but either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it. But again, let's not dwell on this. Let's go to... where can we find someone who processes ore? Ah, I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore.
Da waren wir schon.
If Mr. Crossel had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Shito, willkommen. Geiler Name, Shito.
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh, it's you, Miss Yanfei. Is something the matter? Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear on all that is sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnyan merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnyan merchant named Crossel, you say? I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me to contradict them. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later. They're right over there, in fact.
Splitter, das sind gewaltige Stücke.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
kleine Stücke.
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy whatsoever.
Is that so? Well, we might as well give elemental sight a shot. So, did you find anything?
Nicht eine Spur von elementarer Energie.
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards? That's pretty awesome.
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time.
Warum konnte Shito sie nicht auseinandersetzen?
These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
Jetzt leuchten sie im Licht.
All right, let's focus up.
Wollen
We're
die
going
leuchten?
off on a tangent.
Aber Schein machen?
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossell...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back to Chateau.
Miss Yanfei? Might I be so bold as to inquire,
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus jadeite, uncut.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it carefully.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yanfei, but might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did.
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling.
Noch mehr.
If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Nope. Aha! Got it! Singxi. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Well, that was
Los
quick.
geht's.
How come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, are very important to us. But the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard to understand and impossible to finish. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
Oha.
You memorized them?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know?
Werden Adepten deshalb in allem so
Oh,
gut?
this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Xingxi.
Xingxi. Xingxi. Chongxi. Das Q und das X hat sie fast gleich ausgesprochen, glaube ich. Weil das heißt ja nicht Kiki, sondern Chichi. Nee, doch Chichi. Und die ist Xingxi.
Oh, Miss Yanfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time,
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel? Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called Smaragdus Jadeite. The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Xingxi, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Krosel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Xingxi. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Wir sind alle Fragen.
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it. Thanks again.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
Das bringt die Rechtsberatung wohl so mit sich.
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
Beiju?
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Alter, der war nicht
Because
tot.
only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body. Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case up.
Oder er sah anders aus. So. Ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass er so aussah wie jetzt. Ich habe den gar nicht in Erinnerung, dass er so früh schon da war. Der Beiju. Vor allem noch mit der Schlange. Sowas fällt mega auf. Kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Ich komm, Beiju, ich komm. Kräuterkundler. Gui. Hast du was diese Woche für mich? Hi, ja. Nehme ich alle mit. Die schönen Kishings. Glasglöckchen natürlich auch. Beautiful.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yanfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire? Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, Best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality, and their illness will only ever get worse. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus jadeite?
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to this Snezhnayan merchant?
Ah, you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossel.
Krieg mal hin. Mr. Crossel. Ivanovich, brother.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossel, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this. I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question.
Der Beweis wurde ausgestellt vom Inhaber des Jade-Mysteriums, vom Warenhaus Mingsing ausgestellter Beweis. Ne, das erste.
This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
Vom Warenhaus Mingsing ausgestellter Beweis.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus jadeite.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
Nein, wir machen eine Falle.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet.
Wir haben die schön mit der Angel hier ausgeworfen, der ganze. Und jetzt ziehen wir ihn an Land.
Traveler, would you do the honors?
Bubu.
What's this?
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had no idea.
Ich wusste doch.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item... I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the Ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait! I knew.
Du Monster.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would you...
Huh? No, The hairpins aren't actually...
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Ms. Zerchow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yanfei's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
Sowas fällt also auch noch unter Rechtsberatung.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation, too. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Und warum musste Zhiqiao dann so einen hohen Mietpreis dafür zahlen?
Exactly. If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora, and that is final.
10 times?
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
What? But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn the Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go. But whatever. It'll do.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossell come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I'd like to talk business for a second, if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business between us.
Gefährlich.
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Aber der Weg dahin war eine ganz schön auf und ab.
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, you managed to solve the problem with just a big stack of documents. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution.
So eine Art Adept habe ich auch noch nicht
An
getroffen.
Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Stimmt auch wieder.
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Ich denke, hier ist mehr als nur Vernunft im Spiel,
Well,
Paimon.
since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now.
Was wir nicht alles für eine Teekanne machen. Katastrophe. Und da steht noch eins. Wieder kommt noch ein 2. Ich will doch nur die Teekanne. Bada bing, ping, 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 ping. Ich bin gleich da. So. Um die Ecke. Links. Und da ist er ja.
Ah, you've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus jadeite?
Das haben wir dank Yanfei.
Good, good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you. All right then. Go see to your business. Granny should be able to handle the rest.
Immer schaffe, Yanfei.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Regulars get discounts too.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot, hmm?
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
Ruckzuck.
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talking nonsense back in the day when he stood beside Rex Lapis.
Ein wirklich einzigartiger Adept.
Indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must also learn to change. Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Liyue is not the same place I once knew.
Großmütterchen.
All right then. Let us speak of this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited! How is it made?
Wie lange wird es denn dauern?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment. There we go. This Serenity pot is all yours now.
Dankeschön.
Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Vielen Dank, Großmütterchen.
Wait a minute, Granny! How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to know about it.
Kanne der Vergänglichkeit freischalten. Vielen Dank. Betritt die Kanne der Vergänglichkeit. Machen wir doch gleich. Da ist sie ja. Ey. Schwebende Felsen, Smaragd, kühle Inseln. Was gefällt mir am besten? Kühle Inseln. Yes.
Leave it to me!
Leave it to me. All of it.
Wow! This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's! There's even a great big house in the middle, too! Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it.
Verlangt zu meißeln, Paimon. Du könntest uns ein ganzes Haus aus diesem Stein schneiden.
Paimon can't do that! Well, you're the one with the sword anyway, you do it! Still, why is it so empty here apart from that house? Oh, wait a second, what is that?
Erkunde das Gebiet.
Well, it seems that we have a visitor.
It's a huge finch!
Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me, hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again? Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby.
Du siehst auf jeden Fall so aus.
So you're the little helper Madame Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about you. You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your journey may be far from over, but at least this way you will not want for a comfortable place to sleep each night.
Also was ist ein Kanngeist genau?
Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to attend to the banal matter of their maintenance. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may consider me a butler, if you will.
Oh.
Now, allow me to explain this realm to you. Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, blueprints with beautiful rooms, chairs, and the like. As long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this realm however you please.
Nice.
Blueprints? Oh, that's right! Granny handed us some when she gave us the teapot, didn't she? Let's take them out and have a look.
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Go on, open them up. Just commit the image of the objects to memory and prepare the necessary materials. Then simply release the thought from your mind and the object in the blueprint shall appear within this teapot.
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city inside, couldn't we?
So sieht's aus, Paimon.
I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained this to me at some point in the past. He said that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power, even that has its limits. This world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm, not a means of escaping it entirely.
A golden-eyed adeptus? Paimon wonders who could that be?
Weiß ich gerade gar nicht. Hat Zhongli goldene Augen?
I hardly remember myself. What's more, I have never seen that adeptus again since.
Wie seltsam.
Well, let's not dwell on that. Have a look around. Best you get accustomed to this realm. If there's anything you would like to ask, just look for me.
Du kannst die Kanne der Vergänglichkeit betreten, indem du sie benutzt, herausholst und damit mit der Kanne interagierst. Während du dich in der Kanne der Vergänglichkeit befindest, kannst du sie benutzen, herausholen und dann mit ihr interagieren, um die Kanne zu verlassen. Du kannst auch direkt die Karte öffnen und schnell zu einem der Teleportationspunkte reisen, um die Kanne der Vergänglichkeit sofort zu verlassen. In der Kanne der Vergänglichkeit kannst du bei dem Kannengeist die verschiedenen Angelegenheiten der Kanne kennenlernen und verwalten. Auf der Herstellungsseite kannst du verschiedene Objekte herstellen. Du kannst die erforderlichen Materialien zur Herstellung der Objekte an verschiedenen Orten der Welt sammeln. Nachdem du eine Dekoration erhalten hast, kannst du sie über die Platzierungsfunktion platzieren. Die erfolgreiche Platzierung der Dekoration kann die Adeptenkraftstufe in der Kanne der Vergänglichkeit erhöhen. Mit der Erhöhung der Adeptenkraft wird die Sammlung von Kannentaler auch beschleunigt. Kannentaler können in der Schatzkammer gegen tolle Sachen eingetauscht werden. Ein Kannengeist auf der Durchreise besuchen deine Wohnstätte in regelmäßigen Abständen. Er bringt vielleicht einige rare Schätze mit sich. Wenn du deine Dekorationsbaupläne erhältst, kannst du eine Platzierung von mehreren Dekorationen gleichzeitig vornehmen. Bei der Platzierung können diese einzelnen Dekorationen noch fein justiert werden. Alles verstanden. Sprich mit Knolle. Was haben wir Schönes? Baupläne. Leeres okay, brauchen wir nicht. Irgendwelche Replikate dahinstellen.
Whenever you need me, I'll be
Fische. Geschwätz in der Kanne. Wir haben was neue Baupläne bekommen. Platzierungsauswählen. So, nochmal ein Urgestein. Sehr schön. Ja, die Hinweise kenne ich doch. Stellen wir doch gleich auf. Was ich geschenkt bekommen habe von Zhongli. Stell mal auf. Ich stelle alles auf. Gibt Adeptenpunkte. Einfach hinstellen. Wir haben eh nicht so viel. Wir müssen ja schon einiges produzieren. Machen wir einen kleinen Wald. Was bist denn du? Kann man daneben stellen. Hey Paimon, was geht? Steh ich auch auf. Aktuell haben wir alles. Änderung speichern. Natürlich. Zack, zack geht es. Gleich mal ein paar Adeptenpunkte bekommen. So geht es. Herrenhaus betreten, stelle eine Einheit Farbe her, Stoff her, stelle 3 Dekorationen her. 100 Kantaler sammeln. Erreiche Vertrauensstufe 2. Kriegen wir alles hin. Ah, da bist du schnell wieder da. Gut, gut. Was gibt's? Ich bat dich herzukommen, damit ich dir ein kleines Geschenk geben kann. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich es dir schon erzählt habe, aber diese Domizile sind private Reiche, die von den Adepten für sich selbst geschaffen wurden. Die meisten Adepten benutzen bestimmte Methoden, um ihre Aufenthaltsorte vom Rest der Welt abzuschotten und so seine Reinheit zu erhalten und nicht gestört zu werden. Danach erschaffen die Adepten einen Kannenrapport für jene, die sie an diesem Ort einladen wollen. Dieser Kannenrapport trägt das Zeichen der Adeptenkraft des Reiches und der Adepten selbst. So kann jeder, der den Kannenrapport hat, das Reich nach freiem Willen betreten oder verlassen. Zuvor war diese Behausung in einem unvollständigen embryonalen Zustand. Diejenigen, die hinein eingeladen hättest, wären nur in der Lage, mit der gemeinsam hinein und hinaus zu gehen, anstatt über einen langen Zeitraum bleiben zu können. Aber nun, nimm deinen Kannenrapport, den ich für dich erschaffen habe, und halte ihn in deiner Hand ganz fest. Was soll ich als nächstes tun? Keine Sorge, du musst nur diesen Kannenrapport halten und er wird ein bisschen deiner Energie entziehen. Ach ja, ich habe gehört, wie Ping erwähnte, dass du an sehr vielen Orten Freunde gefunden hast. Würdest du jedem von ihnen einen Kannenrapport geben, würden wir hier noch sehr lange sitzen und Kannenrapport anfertigen. So haben einige Modifikationen an diesem Kannenrapport vorgenommen. Alles, was zu tun ist, die Handfläche der Person, die du einladen möchtest, mit dem Kannenrapport ganz leicht anzutippen und deine Energiesignatur wird auf ihnen verbleiben, was ihnen erlaubt, dein Reich ganz einfach zu betreten und zu verlassen. Fast wie eine Markierung, oder nicht? Naja, irgendwie schon. Aber warum musst du es so seltsam formulieren? Also, hier ist dein Kannenrapport. Geh los und lade ein, wen auch immer du willst. Scheint, als wird dieser Ort bald ziemlich geschäftig sein. Alles erledigt. So. Das sind Dekorationen. Okay. Da ist Kanne der Vergänglichkeit. So.
Maybe you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've materialized enough rooms and furniture through subspace creation, it will feel just like home.
Vertrauensstufe. Oh, habe ich schon. Sehr schön. Gleich 60 Urgestein bekommen. Das freut mich doch. 104. Haben wir 154. Sehr schön. Aktueller Gestaltungsplan kühle Insel. Ich kann einen hier reinstecken. Das ist auch gut. Dann ist was anderes, ja. Dekoration herstellen. Null. Habe ich noch keins davon. Dann bauen wir gleich eins davon. Stoff können wir ein bisschen was herstellen. Machen wir mal 12 Stück. Haben wir 120. Farbe. Weiß ich gar nicht. War schon 9. Ne, habe ich auch 9. Dann machen wir 40 noch. Haben wir noch 250 davon. Dann machen wir 32. Haben wir noch 200. Haben wir noch runde Zahlen raus, ne? 23. So. Das sind alles Holz, die wir schon haben. Sehr schön. Schatzkammer. Da kann man immer schön was kaufen. Alles teuer. Die sind nicht schlecht. Haben wir immer was hier was pflanzen können. Aber da brauche ich erstmal den Schachtel mit den, dass ich die Samen sammeln kann, ey. So. Da haben wir alles hier, oder? Tschüss.
If you ever have
Es sieht geil aus. Was da fliegt und so. Was kann man noch? Was fehlt jetzt noch? Erreiche Stufe 2. Herrenhaus betreten. Machen wir doch. So, ich habe es betreten. Sehr schön. Stelle 3 Dekorationen her, das dauert. Erreiche Vertrauensstufe 2. Das kann auch dauern. So.
maybe you're
Was brauche ich für Stufe 2? Speicherlimit für Kannteile auf 600 erhöht, Speicherlimit für Kanngaben auf 100 erhöht, maximale Warteschlange für Dekorationsherstellung auf 2 erhöht, maximale Anzahl einzelner Kameraden auf 2 erhöht. Wo steht man das ganze Zeugs? Aktuelle Speicherkapazität 300. Ich hab alles vergessen, weil ich es einmal gemacht hast und dann nie wieder. Das sind die Kanntaler. Wahrscheinlich einfach nur
if you ever have
mehr bauen, mehr machen, oder? Ich habe noch ein paar Sachen bekommen, oder? Nur Steine. Katastrophe. Stellen wir doch hin. Egal. Ich hätte eher alles weggemacht, wenn ich besseres Zeug bekomme. Bisschen. Ja, der Rest muss gebaut werden und erhöht werden. Gebaut, erhöht. Im Haus kann ich vielleicht noch was hinstellen. Schauen wir mal. Ah ja, sag ich doch. Aktuell. Ein Tischle. Stellen wir doch gleich hin an die Wand hier. Ein Stühlchen. Hin da. 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 Wunderschön. Das ist irgendwas zum Anschauen. Ein Kronleuchter. Und das sieht doch auch so aus, als passt da drauf. Sehr schön. Wanddekor. Was passiert da? Wo ist das? Dekoration wird platziert. Häuser sind erhalten. Im aktuellen Bereich gibt es keine Dekoration aus dem Set. Warte jetzt mal. Der Tisch ist doch auch davon, oder? Wie kann ich was wegnehmen? So. Also doch, ich habe doch, sonst sag ich doch. Dann machen wir es so, fertig. Da habe ich noch kein Set. Lisa. Und mache ich ja nur eins. Ja, aber es zeigt auch irgendwie nicht an. Dekoration kann aus deinem Blickwinkel nicht. Jetzt, ich dachte, hä? So, jetzt habe ich aber alles, oder? Verzierung, aktuell. Ah ja, das habe ich nicht, genau. Das tun wir noch da drauf. Jetzt haben wir alles aufgebaut. Sehr schön. Krieg auch die ganze Herausforderung. Sehr schön. Lisa!
Oh, when did you arrive? I was completely lost in thought.
Hast du dich bereits eingewöhnt?
Aw, you're concerned for my well-being. Well, aren't you just the sweetest? You really know how to make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Oh.
Don't you worry. I love it here.
Ob Lisa hier wohl noch umbauen will? Hat Lisa irgendwelche Verbesserungsvorschläge? Ob Lisa hier...
Not at all.
Ach komm.
I think what makes this place so special is the fact that it was built personally by you.
Oh.
If I were to start nitpicking, it would only ruin your creativity and the unique charm you bring to the place.
Du bist toll.
I certainly wouldn't want that to happen.
So, raus mit uns. Na, dann haben wir, glaube ich, jetzt alles erreicht. Mehr geht gerade nicht.
Maybe
erst ein paar
you're
Sachen
not
herstellen.
used to the place at the moment.
Maximale Anzahl einzuladender Kameraden. Aber es muss doch irgendwo stehen, wo man das erhöhen kann, oder? Erläuterung. Ah, hier steht was. Aber steht auch nicht. Schwebende Insel, ich verführe es praktisch nicht hier. Nee, nicht. Drinnen. Juweleninsel. Drei pro Stunde ist nicht viel, aber ist halt so.
If you ever have
Langsam Dekoration sammeln, langsam bauen. Dann kriegen wir das hin. Ein paar Errungenschaften. Okay. War wahrscheinlich alles bei der Kanne. Wo ist die? Da. Genau. Alles für die Kanne. Raus mit uns! So. Dann machen wir noch Dailies für heute. Genau. Vernichte die Schleime. Machen wir doch. Rucki zucki. Afro, was geht? Kurzen Prozess.
more like it.
Danke, ich danke dir. Du hast mich gerettet. Diese Schleime waren plötzlich da. Ich habe sie überhaupt nicht erwartet. Bevor ich weglaufen konnte, hatten sie mich schon umzingelt. Erzähl das bloß nicht meinem Vater. Er will mich schon kaum aus dem Haus lassen. Er meint, dass die Schleime in letzter Zeit sehr häufig angreifen. Überall in der Nähe von Mondstadt sind jetzt die Schleime und ich komme kaum noch nach draußen. Heute habe ich es heimlich geschafft. Könnt ihr nachsehen, ob noch Schleime da sind? Wenn es euch keine Probleme bereitet und sie danach gleich beseitigt, kein Problem. Klasse, jetzt kann ich spielen, ohne Angst zu haben. Ah, shit, ich habe keinen Wind. Tausch mal kurz. Sayu! Summ. Da ist nur einer. Alter, wie lange es bei ihr geht. Wie lange die da unterwegs ist. Nehmen wir gleich alles mit. Löwenzahn. Der gute Löwenzahn. Hey, warum ist jetzt so kurz? Muss ich gedrückt halten? Warum hat es so lang gemacht? Ah, ich muss gedrückt halten, okay. Alter, mit der zusammen ist ja mega geil. Da muss ich nicht immer für so viel auf einmal warten. Da kann ich gleich immer einmal und zack, alle sammeln. Sayu! Ist ja cool. Oh, jetzt habe ich falsch gedrückt. Shit. Ich wollte Tschüss sagen. Hast du wenigstens was für mich? Irgendein Item. Komm. Nee. Löwenzahn. So. Oh. Wo muss ich hin? Alter, muss ich so weit raus, oder was? Sind sie verrückt? Alter. Als ob der Kleine da raus spielen geht, ey. Kleine Kisten, okay. Da hinten ist auch irgendwas. Hey, oh, was ist denn? Sieht wie Staub aus. Ein Nebenkraft sollst du ihn wegpusten können. Baum. Wir sind auf Zeit, okay. Aber schnell, dann wird immer mehr. Komm, regeln wir kurz. Sehr schön. Sehr schön. Gehen wir auch zum nächsten. Ist da auch einer oder was? Ist hier aber kein. Was ist da? Nehmen wir auch gleich mit. Da sagen wir kein Nein. Free Stuff ist Good Stuff. Wer bist du? Hydro. Klopf ich auch mal kurz. Keine Chance. Ah, hat schon ein bisschen mehr Leben. Die Nervensäge hier. Oh, jetzt gehen die schon blau. Sehr schön. Genau. Ist da noch einer? Ne, sieht nicht so aus. Schade. So. Machen wir den nächsten. Ich muss dann da hochklettern. Kann man trotzdem verlieren. Alarm in der Klemme. Alarm muss warten. Ich habe Wichtigeres zu tun. Oh, jetzt habe ich ein bisschen zu viel gesprungen. Könnte knapp werden. Aber kriegen wir hin. Easy. Alter, von wo kommt ihr auf einmal her? Hä? Ich treffe jetzt keinen von euch oder was? Geht doch. Nur der richtige Winkel. Dann geht alles.
Opening a chest is like unwrapping a gift.
Sind einfach ein paar Schleims und chillen dort. Eis, 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 immer Eis. Behindert klopfen. Weil wir ihn behindert geklopft haben. Oh, da lebt noch ein Behindert. Nehmen wir die schönen Items. Ah, wieder blau. Ja, Mann. Bei Weltenstufe 3 schon auf blau, wie es aussieht. Sehr schön. Ich glaube, es geht bis 8 oder 6 oder sowas, oder? 8, glaube ich sogar. So. Da unten ist der nächste. Kann man da leicht hinfliegen von hier? Wir sind ziemlich weit oben, oder? Könnte hinhauen. Ein paar Wachtürme zerfetzen. Kriegen wir hin. Da ist nichts, wie es aussieht. Ein bisschen Erz. Oh, Kiste.
A reward on the road.
Wo ist Nummer 2? Hermanos. Sehr schön. Noch einen. Auch nichts liegen lassen, ey. Das nehmen wir doch auch mit. Komm, Sayu. So wenig. Sehr schön. Sehr, sehr schön. Das waren die magischen, ja. Die magischen Kristalle. Brocken. hier alles. Gehen wir zum letzten. Oh. Irgendwas steht da mit Kanne der Vergänglichkeit schon wieder. Schauen wir uns später an. Also ist noch so schnell. Das Teil gefällt mir zum. Für Erkunden ist die echt cool. Ich habe die früher auch nie genutzt. Ich habe die erst voll spät bekommen. Aber nur so mit dem Voran ist sie mega geil. Sie wird kein Ausdauer. Also alles geblockt.
No one escapes myself.
Starfall!
Starfall.
Shiver! Judgment! Drop! Shade!
Easy. Legenden. Achso, habe wieder einen bekommen, ja. Ah, ich muss Lupus... Ah, deswegen sind die alle noch gesperrt. Das ist wahrscheinlich einer der ersten noch. Bevor ich alle anderen freischalten kann. Muss ich auch mal machen. So. Ne, falsche. Da. Tägliche Mission abholen. Mal Dailies. Necessities. Ah, ich habe kein Englisch. Keine Ahnung. Oh, ich habe irgendwas getriggert.
Traveler, please, over here.
Natürlich.
It has been a while since you joined the Adventurers Guild. Are your adventures going smoothly?
Ich rekrutiere neue Verbündete.
Is that so? Apart from your own skills, reliable teammates are also indispensable when adventuring. Another person to count on is always good after all. But recruiting such dependable companions is no easy matter, is it?
Ja.
Yep, and it's even harder to get a guide as good as Paimon.
So sieht's aus.
Ah, yes. I do have some information that may be of help to you. Let me consult our records. Ah, there it is. There's been a certain blonde stranger who arrived in Mondstadt lately, dressed in most unusual clothes.
Blonde. Dresses all funny. It feels like Paimon's heard this one before. Wait, do you mean...
Ist das etwa...
Does that stranger's face look anything like hers?
Like the honorary knights? No, they couldn't look more different. This stranger is a very tall man, and even has an eye patch.
Also doch nur ein entfernter Verwandter von Kaya, oder?
Seriously? How does this have anything to do with Kaya? That patches can't prove that you're related anyway.
That stranger declined the guild's invitation, so I can't say that I know anything about the relationship between him and Mr. Kaya. Nonetheless, you can look for him if you're interested. Perhaps he might accept your commission instead. After all, it is not uncommon for some adventurers to not want to be limited by the guild, but be happy to accept a fellow adventurer's requests. And should the stranger be a strong adventurer indeed, he would certainly be a big help on your journey.
Klingt nach einer harten Nuss.
Please don't talk down on yourself like that. You are the honorary knight of the Knights of Favonius, after all. Your deeds are the stuff of song for all the bards in the city, even now.
Na gut, wegen diesem Fremden.
Well, as to further news about him, you may want to ask Mr. Lawrence. He stands guard at the city gate, so he may know something about that stranger. I wish you every success, adventurer.
Ah, das ist der Ding. Dainslev, wie der heißt, der für den Zwischenkapitel. Jetzt kann ich meinen Lohn abholen. Doch nicht. Sorry, ich habe jetzt alles weggeklickt. Wenn du die Sachen in den Hand nimmst... Ah, deswegen Angeln? Okay. Ob die Fische fangen? Ich verstehe nicht ganz. Von was für einer Art Fischerei sprechen wir denn hier? Oh, ein Angelverein. Klingt nach einer Gesellschaft, die haufenweise leckere Fische gefangen hat. Verschwenden wir keine Zeit, gehen wir und sehen uns das an. Fische in der Überzahl. Sprechen dann Tuk.
Ad Astra.
Jetzt aber.
Thank
Halleluja.
you for
Dankeschön.
Ad Astra.
So. Wie viel haben wir? 1135. Dann testen wir es. 7 plus... Ich habe genug. Gehen wir in unseren üblichen Platz. Mit Transform... Auch mit Teleportation, meine ich. So. Leute. Es ist soweit. Es ist soweit. Bitte lass es 90 sein. Bitte. Es ist 80 oder 90, bin mir nicht ganz sicher. Bitte Gold, bitte Gold. Und bitte Navia. Yes. Gold, 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 Gold. Ja! Navia, 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 Navia. 50-50, 50-50. Hey, spann mich nicht auf die Folter. Alter. Nein, wir haben Navia nicht bekommen. Kiking, kiking, kiching. Und noch eine Waffe. Also unser erster 5 Charakter, Sternecharakter ist Kiching. Kiching, kiching. Naja. Wenigstens 5, nicht wirklich. Opferschwert. Dann. Da ist Kiching, ching, ching, ching. So. Artefakte. Kriegst du irgendwas? Oh, wir haben nicht mal was Blaues mehr. Kitsching, kitsching, kitsching. Kicking, kicking. Ist zwar 5, aber nicht, was ich wollte. Ich wollte eine Navia. Navia. Leider nicht bekommen. Navia. Dafür kriegen wir jetzt die nächsten Goldcharakter wird 100% der von limitiert sein. Zu 100%. Na, wir sind noch 2. Das schaffen wir eh nicht. Das sind 90 Ziehungen ungefähr. Selbst wenn wir Glück hätten. Ich glaube nicht, dass wir die nächsten 10 oder 20 Ziehungen bekommen. Schade. Ich hätte die gern gespielt. Weil ich sage, Look und alles hat mir gefallen von der. So Mafia-Style, Kanonen. Ist halt wieder Erde. Habe ich schon Noel und so. Egal. Schauen wir, was wir bei den nächsten 2 rauskriegen. Dann können wir eine von denen wählen und die kriegen wir dann zu 100%, wenn wir genügend Urgestein alles sammeln. Müssten wir hinbekommen. Schade, dass wir jetzt hier nicht bekommen haben. Aber Kicking geht auch. Wobei, sie ist auch Einhandschwert, aber stehe ich nicht so drauf. Stehe ich nicht so drauf. Ja, sie ist auch Einhand. Nicht so meins. Ich das hier erstmal. Göttliche Fügung überspringt die Abblickzeit einer Elementarfähigkeit beim Versuchen von Schaden mit der Fähigkeit mit einer Wahrscheinlichkeit von 40%. Auflade. Ja, ich werde wahrscheinlich mit Kirara tauschen, das Schwert ist schon Level 40. Yep. Kann Kirara das Level 1 Schwert haben. Und die zwei nehmen die Waffe. Artefakte. Sobald ich neue krieg, lila, gebe ich sie ihr. Ist auch nicht schlecht. Elektro ist sie, glaube ich, gell? Ja, Elektro. Weil ich habe ja bis jetzt noch keinen getrainierten Elektro-Charakter. Kann ich sie nehmen. Feuer ist bis jetzt Ember. Eis ist bis jetzt Rosaria. Wasser ist bis jetzt Ember. Ember. Barbara. Stein ist Noel. Wind kann ich noch machen, aber bis jetzt benutze ich sie meistens als Wind. Aber sie wird halt immer da sein, in dem Land, wo sie ist. Deswegen ist unser Main Character immer irgendwas. Ich will immer von jedem Typen ein trainiertes Ding Charakter haben, der mitgeht, dass man immer tauschen kann. Aber immer vier stärksten sind am wichtigsten am Anfang. Und vor allem auch, je weiter du kommst, dass du immer vier starke für egal welche Situation hast. Aber manchmal musst du halt wechseln, weil manche Gegner sind so schwer und dann musst du ein perfektes Team haben. Später, wenn du hohes Level bist, ist scheißegal, aber so am Anfang, wenn du erst im Trainieren bist, ist immer schwer. Genau, dann haben wir jetzt Feuer, Eis, Wasser und Erde. Ja, und dann trainiere ich sie als meinen neuen Eis-Charakter, Elektro. Können wir kurz eigentlich auch machen, oder? Sie kurz hochstufen. Da haben wir wieder einige. Nehmen wir die blauen. Wunderschön. Oh, kann ich auch gleich aufleveln? Sehr schön. Wunderschön. Machen wir gleich 40. Was braucht man? Davon habe ich 3. Ah, okay, von denen muss ich sammeln. Kann ich auch noch machen. Mach mal alles. Aber nicht mehr heute. Haben schon viele Leute gemacht. So. Wunderschön. So. Jetzt ist sie wieder weiter vorne. Genau. Und das ist sie hier. Weiter vorne. So. Ab hier sind meine trainierten 37, 40, 48. Außer Sayo, natürlich. Aber Sayo könnte ich echt als Wind trainieren, hätte ich Bock drauf. Mir hat es gerade gefallen. Kristallmark. Ja, okay. Da muss ich ja schon mal nach Inozuma. Hat sich schon erledigt, Sayu. So schnell. Auf jeden Fall, Leute. Das war's für heute. Das war Genshin Impact. Was war das? Part 27, glaube ich, sind wir schon, ja. Und ja, hier war Robi von NR Production. Leider haben wir Navi ja nicht bekommen. Bin ich traurig. Aber nächstes Mal kriegen wir einen 5-Sterne-Charakter. Limitierten. Mal schauen, welche 2 neuen nächste Woche da sind. Auf jeden Fall subscribed, kommentiert und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal. Ciao, ciao.